Hi again, everybody. On my last video, I was chatting to you about the possible overdiagnosis of certain types of conditions, and indeed how the mind plays a major role in creating different types of symptoms. And there are a percentage of people, of course, out there who have no clinical evidence that there are any problems, but they're mimicking some form of symptom of some condition. Anyhow, one of the things I wanted to chat to you about now is our children. There's, I think, a total misunderstanding as to what happens in children's brains when they're actually developing. And when we think of learning and behavioural difficulties or developmental problems or delayed developmental issues or non-verbal children or anything like that, it's very easy to sort of classify them and label them, but we have to try to figure out and understand the reasons why. Okay, so let's look at some of the reasons. What happens? Womb life, birth, early childhood development, and all of what they're exposed to contribute hugely. We're now seeing a lot of research around children who go into daycare, creches, and the implications that has on brain development. We see the problems of where parents are forced to go out to work and children, unfortunately, have to be left in with childminders and all of that. But the real question is, what is the impact that is having on some of our children? Now, it's very easy, I suppose, for me to say, you know, parents have to stay at home and all that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm really saying is that we need to look at the real reasons why. So let me give you one reason. Science, and in particularly Columbia University, have established one very important thing. There are lots of children who end up with different types of learning, behavioural difficulties, different types of mental health challenges or emotional health challenges, you know, have school absenteeism or indeed school avoidance issues, lots of anxiety, stomach pain, digestive problems, headaches, all these types of things. We're now beginning to realize that what's happening with these children is that it's down to a brain pruning issue. Now, you as a parent or even as an adult or whatever out there, you might never heard of the word brain pruning. But let me explain this to you. That as a child, when a child is born and between the age of probably 1 and 10 or even earlier, the brain is pruned, and it's pruned based on the type of environment it's exposed to. And if the brain isn't pruned properly, then what happens is there is a build-up of what we call synapses in the brain, and this has a direct effect on how the brain develops and processes information. So therefore, concentration, focus, verbal issues, vision, all of that kind of thing comes into play when there is an issue with brain pruning. So what does brain pruning really mean? Well, it's like you put down a plant on the ground. You have to weed it, you have to water it, you have to prune it, you have to make sure that it's looked after if it's going to develop into and flourish into something like a plant or a tree that you'd like it to be. Well, the brain is no different. Right up until the age of probably 7, 8, 9, 10, the brain is pruning itself. And they have discovered that in 80% of the children who end up with different types of learning and behavioral difficulties, that the brain isn't doing that. It isn't pruning. What does that mean? Really, it means that, let me explain a little bit first, that in our brain, we have tiny microglia, what are called janitor cells. And these janitor cells, the whole idea that as we develop, these janitor cells mop up all of that excess debris. Now, it's complex to get into it from a clinical perspective, but I'm sure if you want to research it, you can. If the brain of your child is not being pruned properly by way of the type of stimulation that it requires from parents or a single parent or whatever, then the implications can be huge. Those initial needs of a child in infancy, if it doesn't require the correct emotional environmental stimulation, even nutrition, then it can lead to serious problems down the road. That is what the science is telling us. So therefore, if the microglia, if those tiny janitor cells are not mopping up those unused synapses in the brain, then the brain is not developing properly. And this results in, obviously, the skills of the child not developing either, and results in a lot of anxiety, digestive problems, headaches, school avoidance, maybe learning and behavioral difficulties, maybe falling within the autistic spectrum area. And it may not happen earlier in development, but it could very well happen in later development. And that's what the science is telling us. That's what the data, the evidence is telling us. That now a lot of these children's issues are down to brain pruning. Now, there's another step beyond that and beyond that again, and I'm going to chat to you more over the coming days and weeks about that, because the more that parents understand understand, the more that children understand the reason why they feel the way they feel, then the more we can create a proper solution. And of course, this is one of the reasons why children are struggling in school. And tomorrow evening, I'm going to chat to you about one of the big issues that is arising in the area of vision for children as a result of that early stimulation. So brain pruning, if it doesn't happen in our childhood, if it doesn't happen in children between the ages of maybe 0 and 10, then there is a huge risk of learning, behavioral difficulties, anxiety, depression, and lots of other types of symptoms. So check it out. Think about it. There has to be a reason why we're seeing so many problems within our children, within children's health today. Okay, looking forward to chatting to you soon. Please share and comment if you'd like, but please share. It might help parents to understand why their children are feeling the way they're feeling. It might be just colic, it might be just respiratory issues, it seems like, but the implications of that is absolutely huge. We can help. Please share and get in touch if you wish. Bye-bye.